And now, it's the Still Unnamed Podcast with your host, Petey Salas.
Hey kids, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Still Unnamed Podcast, broadcasting from the TSUP Network studios. I'm Pete Salas, along with... Yep, it's just me this week. The chair that sits across from me is currently empty. I will be flying solo today. My co-pilot Mark is not with us today, but that's okay. This is Mother's Day weekend, so he's busy with all that stuff. How y'all doing? How y'all doing on this fantastic Taco Tuesday morning? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Little update on me. My ass doesn't hurt anymore. That's cool. That's kind of gone away. It's gone by the wayside. I've been having some horrible back pain, lower back, upper ass area pain. On my right side, it's like, I guess it's the sciatic nerve is what it's called. And it's just a shooting pain that goes directly to the back of my knee and down to my ankle. It's very strange and it's very painful. And the bitch of it is that like it tends to pop up and flare up like at nights right before bed. It has been hurting during the day, off and on, but it's not like a bad, it's an uncomfortable pain. It's not like an excruciating pain. I'm able to go about my day and my business and do what I need to do, but then when I'm ready to, wind down for the evening and I lay down and I finally, put my feet up and it's like, okay, time to decompress, that's when the pain's like, Rawr! It comes at you and it just... It's been pretty awful, but happy to say that the last two nights at least I've been sleeping a lot better. I've been stretching a little bit more and popping a leave like nobody's business, so I don't know, that's probably not too good for my liver, but hey, neither is drinking, and I'm not giving that up anytime soon. Hey-o! So, thanks for joining us. Again, I say us as in me, because Mark is not here today, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. Part of the reason he's not here, like I said, it is Mother's Day weekend that we're recording this, but also because given the subject matter of today's show, it didn't really make sense to have him here. We have a guest this week on the Still Unnamed Podcast. She is a familiar voice, a familiar face to those of you who have been listening for a while. We got Dania back on the show. Dania, of course, being my ex-girlfriend, my first girlfriend, my first love, whatever, from 17 years ago, that we sat down and we spoke to her, episode 18, I believe it was. Pretty good episode, pretty good feedback. It was emotionally draining, it was fun, it was sad, it was eye-opening, it was, heart-melting, whatever you want to call it. I had all of those emotions a couple months ago, rather, at this point, when we did that one, and right after that, she left back to Spain, back to where she called her home now. So she had been over there for a few months, and then just a little backstory. I want to say her work visa or something was coming up. Anyway, whatever it was, it caused her to have to come back earlier than anticipated back to America and fill out some paperwork and stuff like that, and to extend the visa. And so she came back right after she got there, actually, kind of like 3 months later or something like that, from what I understand. And she came back down over here, back to Texas, and she'd been here for 2 months or so before her and I actually made time to, hang out again. I kind of regret that now. I mean, I lost 2 months of her being here, and I was only able to, hang out with her, sparingly over the last month or so. But that's okay. It's not the quantity, it's the quality, of course. But now the paperwork has been filed, everything's ready to go. She's ready to go back for an extended stay. So before she left, we kind of had this idea of let's meet up one last time, and right before you leave, and let's record a little something and find out where we've gone and how far we've come in the last 6 months since we both bared our souls to the world and just kind of talked. So that's kind of what we were doing today, and it was a good talk. it wasn't as heavy or as deep as the last one. It was very light. It was just two friends getting together and talking, and you know, kind of you could kind of get the sense of there's a little bit of sadness at towards the end, knowing that she's going to go away for a while and she's going to miss me, and you know, I'm going to miss her. But you know, I've always said the mark of a true friendship is, you know, you don't necessarily have to talk every day, and when you do talk again, it's like no days have passed. So that's kind of what I have found has happened between her and I. So shit, man, if we were able to go 17 years without really talking and then just pick it up like I had just seen her the day before, then I'm pretty sure we'll be fine, especially with you know, Skype and Facebook and Instagrams and all that stuff. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get to my follow-up talk with the one and only Dania. Here we go. Hi there.
Hi, Petey.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, of course. For those of you listening, you've probably heard in the intro who's on the show today, but let me introduce her again. This is Dania's back. Hi, Dania.
Hi, Petey. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
It's nice to see you again.
Likewise.
It's been a while since we've sat across from each other and had a nice chat. And you brought Starbucks. Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much. White chocolate mocha.
Yes, we need to keep alert, you know. It's been a long week for all of us.
It has. It has definitely been a long week. How you feeling?
I feel fantastic.
You were
really
kind of
good.
sick a little bit.
Yes,
right?
yes. I don't want to dish out my health situation, but I did have pneumonia.
Yes.
And I did not know about it, but luckily I got treated and I'm much, much better now. And it was really funny, though, because I had no clue why my singing classes were not advancing, because I was getting kind of stuck there for a moment until we called the doctor, and I had pneumonia and never had it. And for all of those out there, I hope that when you get a cold or you feel sick, please go to the doctor, because you don't want it to get to that point, you know. But I was very lucky to get the right treatment, and I feel fantastic now. I feel good.
Good. I'm glad. So, you know, there's a million reasons to have you back on the show, but the main reason that we're doing this right now at 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday is because you're leaving again.
Yes.
You're heading back to Madrid.
Yes, I fly out next Wednesday from Houston. Very excited.
The adventure continues.
The journey continues.
Yes.
I'm very happy and sad at the same time, because I have been spending a lot of time here with friends, and especially with my family here in the Rio Grande Valley. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience from the first day, taking into consideration that it's been about 17 years since I have not been here.
Right.
And rekindling with friends, it almost makes you want to stay, you know? Right. And especially with you, you know,
Thank you.
Rekindling with you was one of the most amazing experiences ever. So although we'll be 20,000 kilometers away, I am looking forward to listening to your podcast still, and keeping in touch, hopefully. Thanks to our social networks, of course.
Of course. And let's go back to that. I think it was episode 18, real quick. The last time you were on, got some pretty good feedback on that one. As expected, I really thought that, you know, I thought that it would be interesting to talk to you, to sit down. The whole premise was to sit down with an ex-girlfriend, your first love or whatever, and just kind of like talk to each other almost 20 years later, and just, you know, see where life has taken us. And, you know, surprisingly, or not so surprisingly, actually, it got some really good feedback from a lot of people who were in the same position or same situation as me, where, you know, you fell in love early, and you kind of based the rest of your life around what your first relationship, both the positives and the negatives that came out of it. And, you know, some people just couldn't move on. Some people just couldn't get it together because they were still carrying baggage from years ago. And that's kind of why I wanted to have you on and to talk to you. Well, that was last time. Really good feedback from different people who appreciated the talk, the honesty, the openness that we both shared. Now, a few months later, how do you feel about it? I mean,
I feel great. I felt like I was indeed, carrying some, not necessarily baggage, because baggage has a negative connotation, but there were a lot of things, that ever so often comes, to mind while you're doing things that remind you of your past and so forth. But with this experience that I had with you, it kind of took a twist. It went from negative to positive, because when we get really busy in life, we sometimes tend to forget where we came from. And life is hectic, we live life, we go to work every day, we travel, we do all these things, but it's always healthy, to go back to the beginning. And it helps us understand who we are today. And I focused on that on the last show. And perhaps that honesty and that sincereness made a lot of people like that podcast, and I liked it. I translated it to Spanish. It took me about 6 days because it was a very long episode.
Right.
And I shared it with my mother and my father, and they were very happy to know that I had the ability to still be the same 16-year-old girl that I was before. That's really hard for people to say that.
Right.
And when I see you, I see that you are the same too. You have not changed that much, but it is not a negative thing. It's just that we kind of hide it because we think that it's wrong because other people are not like that, and we hear every single day the stigma of not living in the past and carrying baggage and so forth. It always has a negative connotation, but in this situation with us, it was different because, 20 years later, we come full circle, you know. And we kind of understand the position that we're in today. And to have that, not a lot of people can say that experience. Like you mentioned, sometimes we get back in contact with our exes, for different reasons.
We were talking off mic about yes.
But this time around, I think it was very, very positive. And I felt like I let some baggage go. Not negative, just baggage, period. And during my, the last 6 months, that since the podcast around that time, I've seen a lot of changes in me. I see things more positively, more lightly.
Good.
And when I went back to Madrid, we all have heartbreaks here and there and so forth, but I was able to see with my eyes, more openly the situations that I have been in, both recently and in the past, where I just enjoy life more, and I tell myself every day, it's okay to be who I am, it's okay to be so loving and so caring, even if sometimes those around us take it negatively, or they see something different or weird on that. And at the end of the day, we want truth. One of my favorite quotes from American author Henry David Thoreau is, rather than fame, than love, than money, just give me truth. And the most important thing is being true to our own selves, So, and then being true to you and you being true to me, that was like amazing. And you came out of nowhere and I just dropped by out of nowhere, just landed in your area. And it was just a beautiful experience. And yes, I listened and I read the feedback, but most importantly was your mom, your mother, Cindy, to hear her nice words, and to read the comments she made, it made me realize how beautiful life is. And even if it took me 20 years to talk to her again, 17, 20 years, just to hear those beautiful words from her, it warmed my heart. And I'm very grateful that it happened because we touch other people, We touch the hearts of others. And although you're using this podcast, kind of for therapy or for development of your own self, it's actually touching other people. And just like with music, that's awesome. That awesome. Tells you that you're doing the right thing. So
if you can invoke an emotion from somebody, by any means necessary, you're doing something special. I feel, and it's the same with entertainers or comedians or musicians or spoken word authors or whatever the case is. If you can connect with even one person and that there is something there is a genuine universal connection, soul to soul, whether it be on stage or through the internet, radio, or whatever the case is, I feel really good about it. And that's why I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it 35 weeks later or whatever it is. It's almost been a year. It's more than half a year I've been doing this.
It gives you a sense of fulfillment,
Right.
a sense of accomplishment, and at that a positive accomplishment. And I admire that a lot, because although they're two different medias or two different spectrums, radio or podcasts and music, at the end of the day, we are doing what we love, and we project.
Right.
We're projecting to other people, what we feel, and obviously it bounced back to us with good positive comments. So I'm kind of glad that we did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of alluded to it, and maybe one or two episodes after that, about the positive feedback I got. But I'm still getting comments about that one, honestly. I mean, that one is one of my highest viewed and rated episodes, because I think there are a lot of people out there that are in the same situation of there's something nagging at them in the back of their mind, something business that was left undone, like not getting closure. I'm sure there's a lot of people. I'm not the only person. We're not the only people that have gone most of their lives not getting closure on something that was very important to them. So that's the type of comments that I've gotten and emails and whatnot that I've gotten. That, for the, Mark and I like to share emails and comments and kind of like talk about things that happen, whether they're funny or they're negative. But those, as it pertains to that episode, I felt like those were private moments shared between me and a listener. So I would never divulge that information or whatever. But just to keep it general and basic, there's a lot of sad people out there, and they're sad because they felt like they screwed up something a long time ago, and they've been reeling from it. Life punched them in the face a long time ago, and they're still hurting from it. And to hear that things get better and that give it a few years, and you can get past it, and you can grow from it, and you can learn from it, and you can come out a better person on the other side, that gives people hope. And that's kind of the type of comments that I've gotten. So I want to thank you about that, for that, because you have helped people too. It was my show. It was my YouTube channel or whatever, my iTunes network. But you were part of that. So I want to thank you.
You're very welcome. And on my side, we have not had an opportunity to talk about it, but I also received some feedback from some of our friends from high school, actually.
Right.
From Mackay, and as people know, I went to Nikki Rowe, but I did have a lot of friends at Mackay too, and they remembered you, and they remembered me, and they remembered us, and they listened to the podcast, and I got a few messages also talking positively about how open we were, and how it is so special that not a lot of people, are capable of coming full circle and doing something like this. But we gave those people that hope that, if two people are mature enough and sincere enough, they can do this as well. Mm-hmm. It is possible. When people say, no, to your ex, you can never be friends with your ex, or you can never go back. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. It all takes a lot of maturity and a lot of sincerity and a lot of truth, and I live by that. And I've always been an open book. Sometimes it backfires on me, but I wouldn't change myself for the world. I like to be very open, and sometimes, because it is a very sad world, it is hard for people to take in positivity. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult, and it's a little bit of stigma and a little bit of a taboo subject that, when you have someone positive, some people say, what's wrong with you,
Right.
So sometimes when I try to be really open, I have to be very careful, and sometimes we do that for many years, and I project what I feel sometimes with music, because I've never had an opportunity as good as this with you to literally open my heart and my soul. Mm-hmm. And what better person can I do that with than Petey, you know? And it's almost like this little gift that was being saved for me. So all the heartbreaks, all the heartache, all the challenges, all the sad days, all the tears, all those things that we all go throughout the years, you always have to have that hope and that faith that says it is going to get better. It might not be exactly the perfect picket fence house with bunch of babies and, a wedding with a huge white dress. It might not always be the way you envision it, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because to me, talking to you again and coming in touch with you was that gift that I've been waiting for my whole life.
Right.
I wanted to find something positive because of how hectic and how crazy life is. Sometimes we don't bump with as much positivity around us because the world is moving so fast. We're moving so fast. And sometimes we're so nomadic. I'm a gypsy, it's really hard, to maintain relationships. But just to find out that I came back in touch with that relationship from 20 years ago, it is one of the most beautiful gifts that life can give. And I have to thank you for that, because of this forum that you have here, this thing going on with your podcast. If you had not done this, maybe this would have never happened between us,
Right.
It's kind of magic. It's magical. And I'm glad that people liked it, So I want to thank you too for that. Yes. Good job.
Thank you. I think we both patted each other on the back. So
that's what it's all about, kind of support each other.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. So, heading back to Madrid.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am very, very happy. I received a couple of messages from people over there that they're very excited, to have me back. And I'm very excited to go back and, do a couple of things that I didn't get to do the last time I was there. But I'm stoked, and I'm excited to see my friends, and I've built relationships over there that it feels like I have my other family on the other side of the world.
Right.
And of course I have, my goals, and, I have dreams and goals, and I'm trying to turn my dreams into goals. And that's what I'm actually doing right now. And part of it is going back to Madrid and completing, the things that I need to take care of and live life to its fullest. Life is beautiful, and Madrid is such a beautiful city, where all of Spain is. And I try to, let people know my adventures. I'm hoping to maybe in the future, not necessarily do a podcast, because I'm not as good as you on that, but maybe a blog or something about my travels, because I do have a lot of people everywhere I go that asks me, how's Spain and how's Madrid, how's
Right.
life over there? And it brings me a lot of joy to share that, because I've met such wonderful people, especially in the music industry, in the music spectrum. And that brings even more joy. That's even more beautiful.
I would assume a lot of people live vicariously through you, like people that don't get to travel themselves. They want to hear what it's like to live such a free life. Like, I know that I don't like the word envy, because that too has a negative connotation, but I for the lack of a better word, I do envy the fact that you are able to just kind of pick up and just have these adventures and just go travel the world. There's things that people always say, man, if only I could do that, or man, if only I could do that, or if I wasn't married, or if I didn't have kids, I didn't have connections or a career or whatever, I just get up and go. And I know I have felt that way sometimes. I just want to see the world, and to know that there's somebody close to me that is doing that. I do want to hear about these things, because it makes me, it reminds me that there's more to life than just what I do Monday through Friday. There's a huge world out there that I have only seen a speck of one grain of sand of that beach that we call the world. And one day I truly hope to be able to have the time and to have the opportunity to go see more of it.
Definitely. And well, first of all, I like to say that I take it for granted sometimes, because when you're not the first person that says that.
Right. And
the way that I view it is very differently. I think I take it for granted because this has been my life for a long time, and it's a survival skill, to travel, and I've been very blessed and very lucky to have the opportunity to do all this. But behind that, people know my name, but they really don't know my story.
Right.
And that's exactly how it all started. That little comment you made about what we live, today or here is just a little speck of the world. It is true, because I was there. I was very blessed to have a beautiful career. I love my college days. I worked in a hospital for 13 years. I love my job. It was wonderful. But I did have that mentality, just like everyone else, that that was my whole world. And one day I woke up and I said, okay, what's going on? Is there something else out there? And I've listened to other friends that have done the same thing as I have, and exploring the world. It could be moving out of state. You really don't have to go across the Atlantic or the Pacific, You can just move to another city, which I've done that too many times, and just, experience a different kind of people, experience the scenery and enjoy every moment of it. But I'm so used to it that I really don't see where the envy comes from. And it's a good envy. I've never heard anybody say it's like negative.
Right.
But little do they know that I envy their life too. I would love to have children one day, get married and have a house and do all that good stuff. But this is where my life led me. And I know that might be somewhere in the future, and I still have hope for that. But in the meantime, I have to live life, And I took that journey, and I experienced that there is a big world out there. It allows you to appreciate what you have here, especially in America. I like to make an emphasis and focus on that, going to different countries. I've been to Jamaica, London, to Madrid, some areas in Spain. Everything has its charm. Everything is beautiful. In the United States, you have the East Coast and the West Coast. They all have something different to offer. But our country, is the best. Mm-hmm. I will have to say that. And there is no place like Texas, seriously. And they do not say that Texas is a friendly state for no reason,
right.
Texas is just wonderful, and I love this place.
It's like a country unto itself. It really is.
It sure is. And it has a little bit of everything in the U.S., and don't get me wrong, when I am enjoying my time in Spain, I've been there a year already, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. But there are moments that I miss Texas a lot. It has a lot to offer. And when you travel, you can make that determination. You have the right to say, now I can compare. And I have nothing bad to say about America. America is just a wonderful country. We have a lot of freedom. We have a lot of rights. And I am very proud of all of the Americans because, not because of the riots, and the demonstrations and all those things, but the Americans have this capability to stand up for the rights, for the Constitution. And I don't mean to get political on your show or anything, but I have, seen different political scenarios, the monarchy, the democracy, communism, and
right.
all this.
You've lived under all of those.
I live under, exactly.
Right.
And I know the difference. And I think we're all very lucky to be Americans,
mm-hmm.
and I'm very proud of that. But if I had not traveled the world, I would have not been able to know that. You can see the news all day long. You can watch movies all day long. But when you're there living it at that moment, when you're walking, in the streets of Madrid, and you're not allowed to have, rights to do demonstrations, because Madrid right now, they have this ban where you cannot do demonstrations. Mm-hmm. The politics and the government doesn't allow you to. You get to a point where you have to do virtual, strikes.
Like over the internet?
Over the internet, okay. On social networks, or holograms. I mean, wow. I've seen everything. Holograms, because strikes on holograms. It's
because
amazing.
If you try it in the streets, they'll
arrest you.
Okay,
yes,
that's what I thought you meant.
So
okay.
Here in America, we have a lot of rights to stand up for ourselves. And yes, we see the riots, the whole Baltimore situation, the mm-hmm. cop situation. It's very sad, what we have seen lately. But at the same time, there will always be balance. And I noticed that about America, that people have protected this country for many centuries. And it's fun. It's fun to know all this information, but I could not appreciate it if I had not traveled the world and see the limitations that other countries have, So, and, based on that, living vicariously, That too, my friends do tell me that. I have lived vicariously through other friends as well, with their lives, with their babies, with their families. And I feel very blessed because they let me be a part of it, especially my friends here in the Rio Grande Valley. I get to spend a couple of days here and there visiting, and I get a little taste of what their life is like.
Right.
And I live vicariously through them also. And it's all about, sharing what you've seen. And that's why I'm a big Facebook person. I love to share with people, my adventures.
Right.
And some of my friends ask me, are you ever going to write a book about it? And I say, well, maybe one day, but you have to give me the rights because you're probably going to be in it. I mean,
you have to sign away the stories.
Exactly. I've never done this alone, to be honest with you. There's always someone in the background supporting me, Pete. Right. I cannot say that I do all this on my own. When I build courage to do something, I don't give myself 100% credit. There are people like you, for example, that through conversations and through support and through, cheering me on, I'm capable of taking the courage to jump on those airplanes,
Right.
And because it's not easy. It's very scary just to be by yourself and just jump on a plane and go to another country, go to another place.
Well, of course. I mean, I guess using myself as an example, I give you the courage that I don't have. Because, I mean, it's hard for me to even fathom the idea of jumping on a plane and just leaving for a few weeks or months or years or whatever. Like that's so far out of the realm of possibility for me now. At least I feel that just to hear that you're able to do it, like that's a good thing.
But there's always a friend or friends or family in the background supporting me because it means the world to me. Because wherever I'm going, sometimes I start off by myself, and I'm capable of developing friendships and relationships with people that always make me feel that wherever I go, it's home. Because in reality, that's what it is. You can be at any place in the world, but you're your own home, know, and you can make any place your own home. But I do thank all my friends and all the support that I get because, I can't say that I do it all alone. And it means the world to me when I get comments and feedback from my friends that they're very happy for me for the things that I'm doing because they've seen both of my lives. They've seen the life of that stable person, in a job day and night, working 75 hours a week in a data center, working on computers. They know that part of me already. So they kind of understand, those close to me understand that what I'm doing right now is something that my mind and my heart was asking me to do.
Right.
And I took a shot at something different.
You can only deny those for so many years before, the demand in your head, the pounding in your heart and your chest, like it just gets overwhelming where you just have to get up and go. Yes.
And that's exactly, what I did. And I'm happy to be able to share that with others because they don't have the opportunity to do that. And I always get asked, so how's Spain? And I want to go and just say, please come on over. Please come and be my guest. I would love to show Spain to anybody because it's kind of paying it forward, Pete. I had a lot of friends in Madrid that opened the doors and their hearts to me. And they've taken me on so many journeys, both through music and through travel and through bonds and relationships. And I feel like I have an obligation as a human being to pass it on, to be forward. So anybody who wants to come to Madrid, please give me a holler.
There you go.
Pete has my contact information.
I'll put her address in the description here.
There you go.
Or rather the coordinates. And your band. I'm sure you're excited to get back to your band and get back on stage and everything. I mean, it's been too long.
I sure am. I am very excited, and I did receive communication from them about 3-4 weeks ago. And they said they were very excited to see me back again. I do miss being on stage. Some of my friends know that music is my passion, and it becomes even of a greater passion when you get to share with a group of individuals that are committed to spend an amount of time with you to just create music. And it doesn't matter if it's a cover band or if it's composing your own songs or doing whatever, but you have the commitment of people. You have the commitment of a group of musicians that blend together, that get along very well. And as we all know history about rock bands, let's say Guns N' Roses, for example, the whole Slash Axl thing, it happens in all bands. So I feel very, very lucky for my band, The Flame, to have the connection that we have because We don't miss any rehearsals. We show up to rehearsal, and we have fun. And of course I miss that. So getting into music, I've been a bass clarinet player for 17, 18 years now.
Right.
And yes, I know how to read music, and I know a little bit about jazz. Jazz is one of my favorite types of music, and so is rock and roll. But I've come to a huge challenge, which is singing. And of course, all my Facebook friends know that because I post a lot of things about it. I've always been a person that likes challenges. And going back to the whole subject of the traveling and not traveling and being, nomadic and not nomadic, with challenges, I'm the same way. For 13 years, I worked for IT, and I liked it because it's always changing. There's always a challenge. Mm-hmm. But my heart told me to try something else. And what else am I going to try? Something more that I love more than computers is definitely music. But guess what? Just as computers was a challenge for me 13, 14 years ago, music is a challenge. So I'm trying to learn how to sing, and I'm very excited about that. I have grown as a musician and as a human being because I do have more admiration now for singers.
Right.
Because now I am not just only going on stage and projecting what my heart tells me, because the crowd loves that.
Right.
Now I am actually learning what it really takes to hit a note, to sing correctly, and to do things the correct way. And I have more admiration for those musicians around me. And it doesn't matter if it's vocals, it's a guitar, the drums, whatever you say, Mm-hmm. I have a lot of respect for that now, and I have a lot of respect for music. And so singing is my new goal in life. It's yes, it was a dream, but I have made it into a goal.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. I just finished 3 months of singing classes. And I am still in the work, because from night to day you just can't learn how to sing.
Right.
But it's getting there. Yeah. So my band is kind of excited to hear what I've learned the last few months. So they're excited to have me back. Yes.
I mean, I would assume, like, when you left them, this is not meant to sound insulting or not, but I think when you left them, you were a really, really good karaoke singer. And at this point, you're going to come back as a semi-professional.
Well, what I like to call it, technically speaking, is like a copyist. That's the correct term.
Okay.
A copyist is a musician who can literally go to the Grammys, and all of a sudden Jennifer Lopez, can sing because her throat hurts, and there'll be a singer in the back of the stage who will copy Jennifer's voice and
like mimic her perfectly.
And mimic, yes. And that you have to go, to a music conservatory, or you have to have many years of experience and training to be able to do that. But don't we all try to do that when we karaoke?
Yeah,
kind of, sort of, exactly, right?
Right.
So now I know the difference between karaoke and technique.
Right.
And it is going to be a long journey that I hope my friends are going to be there to support me through it, because it's hard. But yeah, karaoke, I can memorize a few songs here and there, but most of it is just the love of rock. That's what I share with my band. I'm more of a classic rock person. Mm-hmm. That's the genre that I like. Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath, Guns N' Roses, Eric Clapton, Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, you name it. I've got the list, and I just feel like I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to be able to share with friends, especially on stage, the music that I love. Mm-hmm. And there might be a million, cover bands out there, but my band, The Flame, it's a special bunch, and I love them and I miss them, and I just can't wait to see them. Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear, how your first gig back, went. So you better keep me in the loop when
Definitely.
It comes to that.
I'll keep everybody posted of how much fun we have out there. And in all honesty, it's really not about the singing so much about having the perfect pitch or the perfect tone, says the person that can't sing very well, but right. But it's really about having fun. Yeah. You can hit the highest note on earth, and still not have that magic that you have with a group of people. It's really what you project in the crowd.
Right.
And the crowd in Madrid, I haven't had the pleasure of, playing anywhere here locally, maybe one day, but at least in Madrid, the crowd is very happy because they see that huge smile when I start singing,
Right.
Give Me All Your Loving from ZZ Top, and it reminds me of Houston and so forth. And the crowd goes crazy, because of the energy that we project. It's just all for the love of music. It's not to be famous. It's not to prove anything to anybody. It's just to be grateful. When I'm on stage, I try to make it all about the crowd and just tell the crowd, we're doing this for you. This is your show. We're just sharing music, all of us together.
Right.
So, and
I mean,
it's fun.
the crowd will always respond when they can tell that you're having fun up there. If you're having fun, you're projecting that, you're singing a good song, you're going to get the crowd behind you. And just the fact that you're, singing a song by that little band in Texas, ZZ Top,
Yes.
10,000 miles away or whatever in Spain, that's awesome. You can bring them to their feet with, with good music and good vibes and good, just positivity. You're a very positive person, and I get that from you, and that's a wonderful thing to have sitting across from me. So yeah,
Thank you. Thanks, Petey. That's very nice. Thank you.
So anyway, I want to thank you again for joining me here at the TSUP Network Studios, and I've little by little I'm making this look more and more like a professional.
Sure does.
Studio.
It's looking great. By the way,
I think
from the last time I came here.
Right, last time it was just 2 mics and a little mixer, but now I'm getting there. I got more professional equipment and stuff, and we're still building here, and you're part of that building process, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your time. I know that your journey continues. Starting tomorrow again, you're heading back, and I want to wish you luck, and I want to wish you safe travels, and thank you so much for just spending some time with me. We've seen each other a few times since you've been here. Oh, I know. I remember what I wanted to just real quick on the side note. Do you remember that first night that I picked you up to go to dinner, and I saw your sister again?
Yes, my sister Karina.
Yes.
My awesome sister Karina.
It transported us right back to being 17.
1998. Yes.
It was so strange. Here I am. I'm 32 years old. I don't have to be hiding, and I don't have to be like scared of knocking on a girl's door.
It was like deja vu, or like, I don't know, like living the moment all over again. And she laughed too. She goes, I remember him. I remember, that's your ex-boyfriend. And I go, yes. He's like, oh, okay. And you look kind of nervous coming to my door to pick me up.
I don't know why I was nervous.
It was so funny and so cute. But I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Right.
And my sister says, oh, well, he's a gentleman. I said, he always was. I said, but I guess things don't change. But yeah, that was very funny. And it felt like we were kids again,
right.
Coming to my door to pick me up, with the only difference that this time you had a car. Yes.
Yeah. My mom wasn't waiting for me.
Exactly, at the door.
Like last time. Oh my God, that was funny. I remember that's what I wanted to bring up last time, and I completely forgot. But anyway, well, I'm gonna say this is not goodbye.
Exactly.
Because I don't believe in goodbyes. So
I agree.
This is just me saying good luck and safe travels, Godspeed. Please be safe, and I'm so glad that your journey is continuing, as is mine.
Definitely, Pete, and thank you once again for having me. The past few months that I've been hanging around here and having the opportunity to spend some definitely good quality time with you, and rekindling and learning about what our lives have been, has been a wonderful, beautiful experience. And although there has been those hiatuses or those breaks in between where I have to go back and forth to Madrid, we still manage to make the effort, to see each other and spend time together.
Right.
And it just brings me so much joy that our experience was not one of those where I get to say, oh, I just saw him one time and
right.
Never again, and it would have been nice. No, we're definitely making the effort to stay in touch, and I really appreciate that a lot, and I hope it's not the last time I see you, and I will say I will see you soon.
Yes.
And we'll keep in touch, and definitely no goodbyes.
Right. Well, Dania, you're a beautiful person, you're a beautiful soul, and my life is better with you back in it.
Definitely. I couldn't say it any better. Thank you, Pete, for everything.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Well, all right, there you have it. That was my talk with Miss Dania, and she successfully got back to Madrid. I've already heard back from her. This was recorded about a week ago, so happy to say that she is safe and back in Spain, and she's getting prepared to hit the stage again with her band, and gonna keep that journey going. That's kind of what the theme of the conversation was where she's been and where she's going, and the journey that we're all on, and the journey that continues to drive us to make something of this life rather than just let the time fade away. And that's what she did, and that's what she's doing. And I was very happy for her that she went back to Madrid this time for the right reasons, and hopefully she finds what she's looking for and finds that missing piece and makes a life, and it just has everything that she desires. And, that's one thing about me, that when I care about somebody, when I care about you, like truly you are a part of me and part of my life, and I can honestly say that I love you, man or woman, whoever it is. If you're my true friend, I honestly want the best for you. Maybe my connection is too strong with some people. Maybe I interweave myself within their soul. I don't know how to say it, but like when they hurt, I hurt. And this is not for everybody. I mean, there's in episodes past, I've given many examples of how I can be, kind of a prick sometimes, but I'm not talking about just anybody. I'm talking about the true elite people in my life that I care about and that I love, that have meant something to me. When you get knocked down, I'm right there with you. I am. I'll get down in the dirt with you, and I will do my best to try and pick you back up, whether it be with my hand, strength, or comforting words, encouragement, cheering you on, whatever the case is. That's what I do, and that's what I do for people that are important to me and people that I care about. I've always been that way. And she kind of spoke about mistakes in relationships and the problems that come up, and I mean, she's referring to a relationship that she made in Madrid last year that didn't pan out. It didn't work out, and that was part of the reason why she was going and coming back, trying to figure things out. And I've been there. I've been there in that situation where you just can't you couldn't find your ass with both hands. Basically, you're just lost. You just don't know what to do, and whatever feels right at the time, and it might not be right in the grand scheme of things, but you got to follow your heart. And I'm just glad that she's going back to Madrid this time for the right reasons, for her. She's doing it for her. She's doing it because this is something that she wants, something that she wants to prove to herself that she can do, and it's in her heart to say, there's something more out there, and Jesus, I'm going to go find it. Regardless of how long it takes, regardless of anything, I'm going to go and find my happiness. And I just couldn't be happier for her. And I really hope she finds it. So, Dania, my dear, I raise my Hill Country Fair pineapple soda up to you. And I say, I wish you the best. And may you finally find that missing piece. And whether you like it or not, whether you need him or not, you've always got a friend down here in South Texas. I love you. Good luck. Hit the music. So on that note, I want to thank you guys for joining us on your Taco Tuesday morning. On behalf of myself and Mark, I am Pete Salas, thanking you once again for joining us. Thank you for liking us. Thank you for the support. Special thanks to our sponsor, Chico's Bail Bonds. And have yourself a happy Taco Tuesday. Here's to another 20,000 kilometers. Bye-bye.